I am resigning from the office of governor.
Tonight, the governor of New York resigns in disgrace.
I am deeply sorry that I did not live up to what was expected of me.
I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, a CBS News exclusive. How the workhorse of the war on terror is falling apart. Soaring food prices, why it's costing a lot more dough to make dough. And in this slowing economy, business is booming for at least one company.
I'm here to show you modern dishes for modern living.
Tupperware parties are back.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. Well, the pressure just kept building on Eliot Spitzer since the news broke that he'd been patronizing a prostitute, and today he resigned as governor of New York, a dramatic end to the political career of a man who was once one of the Democratic Party's rising stars. Here's our national correspondent, Byron Pitts.
11:45 this morning. His wife, Soda, still at his side. New York's Governor Eliot Spitzer forced to accept what he dished out for years, public humiliation.
In the past few days, I've begun to atone for my private failings with my wife, Soda, my children, and my entire family. The remorse I feel will always be with me. I am deeply sorry that I did not live up to what was expected of me. To every New Yorker and to all those who believed in what I tried to stand for, I sincerely apologize.
Spitzer spoke for less than 3 minutes, took no questions.
Thank you very much.
For many New Yorkers, it was too little, too late.
I really hope he gets what's coming to him, being such a hypocrite.
Professor David Birdsell, Dean of Public Affairs at Baruch College in New York.
This has been one of the hardest, the furthest, and the fastest falls from grace that we've seen in American politics.
As I leave public life,
political and legal experts made note Spitzer's comments, though long on sincerity, were short on specifics. No mention of alleged liaisons with the high-price hooker from an international prostitution ring known as the Emperor's Club. No comment on the reported $80,000 he spent for sex the past 10 years.
This is a man in very, very serious personal trouble. The governorship notwithstanding, he could go to jail.
With Spitzer forced out of office in disgrace, his political enemies said it was time to move on.
He must deal with his own problems in his own way. But it is now time for us and all New Yorkers to move forward.
Lieutenant Governor David Paterson will take over Monday. Legally blind since birth, Paterson became a New York State Senator at 31. Now 53, he'll become the state's first black governor.
The fact that he is so well liked by Democrats and Republicans can really help in Albany in particular.
Paterson's first order of business, clean house. Expectations are he'll replace Spitzer's senior staff with his own by Monday. Katie?
And Byron, what about Eliot Spitzer's legal troubles? There was word he was trying to cut a deal with the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Well, Katie, in an unusual move today, the U.S. Attorney issued a statement saying there's been no deal between his office and Spitzer. That means the former governor is still in real legal jeopardy.
All right, Byron Pitts. Byron, thank you. Late today, incidentally, the New York Times posted on its website photographs of the woman it says is at the center of the Spitzer scandal. Known as Kristen, she is 22 years old and came to New York from the New Jersey shore to become a professional singer. She would not comment about the case, but she said, quote, "I just don't want to be thought of as a monster." Spitzer's money trail helped federal agents connect him to that prostitution ring. Red flags went up when he started moving money around various accounts. More than ever, investigators are keeping a close eye on financial transactions, perhaps including yours. Here's Nancy Cordes.
You don't have to be a big spender making large payments to questionable companies to get scrutinized by your bank. Nope. Every purchase you make, down to that $7 sandwich and soda, gets screened.
That transaction, assuming you used a credit card or a debit card, is going to go into the system and it will be monitored with the rest of the transactions that go on in your account.
Mark Morman showed us how his software company, SAS, helps banks review millions of transactions, scanning for suspicious activity.
Let's say that that sandwich was followed by 4 cash deposits at 4 different ATMs within 2 hours. These are unusual behaviors, And these are the kinds of things that we're looking at.
A troubling transaction might trigger a suspicious activity report. Banks send about 1 million of them to federal investigators every year. They've always had to report payments over $10,000. But since 9/11, banks have started looking harder at small amounts, searching for money laundering, bank fraud, and terrorist financing.
For the great majority of people, there would never be any pattern in their account that would raise any kind of suspicion and require us to file a report.
That's because a strange transaction alone isn't enough to ring alarm bells. It's weighed against the individual's risk score, and every single account holder has one.
Are they a brand new customer? Have they had suspicious activities in the past? Are they an international customer?
There's one other group of customers who often get assigned high-risk scores: PEPs, or politically exposed persons, judges, party officials, and politicians.
They have a duty to individuals, to the citizenry, to not engage in corrupt conduct. And that's why there is always a close monitoring of the activity of government officials.
The ultimate irony is that as a governor and former attorney general, Eliot Spitzer would have known better than anyone, Katie, that he was a PEP, and therefore that his financial dealings would be an open book.
Nancy Cordes reporting from Washington tonight. Thank you. When he steps down Monday, Spitzer, a supporter of Hillary Clinton, will no longer qualify as a Democratic superdelegate. Clinton picked up 14 delegates in Mississippi yesterday. Barack Obama, meanwhile, got 19. With that, our CBS News count shows Obama now leading Clinton nationally by 123 delegates. Another of Clinton's key supporters, Geraldine Ferraro, today gave up her position with the Clinton campaign after some controversial remarks about Obama. Dean Reynolds has our report tonight.
Ferraro's departure came days after saying race was the reason for Obama's electoral success. If Obama was a white man, she told interviewers, he would not be in this position. If he was a woman of any color, he would not be in this position. This morning, the former vice presidential nominee and Clinton campaign fundraiser responded defiantly to the criticism that called her comments offensive.
Okay. This is going to give me incentive to go out and raise twice as much.
Right. And late this afternoon, the Clinton camp said it could disagree with Ferraro's comments without having to let her go. But within hours, she was gone. Quitting, she wrote Clinton, because the Obama campaign is attacking me to hurt you. Leaving so I can speak for myself. Obama, who won the Mississippi primary with 92% of the African-American vote, said Ferraro's views were divisive and ridiculous.
I don't think my name or my skin color would be in the asset column.
Obama made his comments at a news conference in a flag-draped room evoking the White House and in the company of 9 retired admirals and generals who support him. The better to rebut a damaging Clinton charge about his experience and the need to pass the test for commander-in-chief.
And I believe that I've done that. Certainly Senator McCain has done that, and you'll have to ask Senator Obama with respect to his candidacy.
Today, Obama was asked if he believes the former First Lady is qualified.
Yes, as I believe Senator McCain is, and as I believe I am.
And Obama said he was surprised that the questioning of his credentials is coming from a fellow Democrat. Katie?
Dean Reynolds in Chicago. In tonight's CBS News Money Watch, the word is ouch. The price of oil hit a record high for the 6th straight day, trading over $110 a barrel before closing just under that. The price of gasoline also hit an all-time high, a nationwide average of $3.25 a gallon. And wheat prices, they're up 173% from a year ago. And that's why, as Cynthia Bowers tells us, feeding your family is taking a bigger and bigger bite out of your budget.
Bakery owner Moshe Hesht of Los Angeles says with flour selling for 4 times what it did in August, he's feeling the heat in and out of the kitchen.
We've never seen such a hike in flour in the history of Schwartz Bakery. And I've been around in this bakery since I was a little kid.
Here you go, sir.
At Home Run Inn, a small pizza chain in Chicago, they're caught in the same squeeze, paying thousands more a week for flour this year than they did last. Flour's going through the roof because it's made from wheat. Global demand for that grain is soaring. At the same time, droughts around the world have slashed supplies, which means wheat is suddenly a very hot commodity.
Right now, with very tight supplies and very strong demand, the market's answer is to go higher.
As recently as a year ago, even longtime traders say they would have bet the farm that wheat prices would never top $6 a bushel. Now they're trading for twice that, and there's no end in sight. That's great news for wheat farmers, but bakers worried about their businesses today went to Washington to demand the government release environmentally protected land in order to grow more grain. And hard-pressed consumers say they could sure use some help when it comes to checkout.
Like bread goes up, 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 up. I like it.
The cost of whole wheat bread has gone up 12%, now up to $1.81 a pound. Pasta is up 19% to over $1 a pound. This may sound like pennies, but when you consider Americans buy 3 billion loaves a year, you are adding millions to the bottom line. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Chicago.
In other news, safety concerns forced Southwest Airlines to ground some of its planes today, 43 of its older 737s, so they could be inspected for cracks in the fuselage. That's about 8% of its fleet. And it forced Southwest to cancel 118 flights today, though it's expecting a normal day tomorrow. Last week, you may remember the FAA fined the airline $10 million for allowing planes to fly without being inspected. There is much more CBS News ahead. Up next, major worries about some other planes. The military's workhorses are being strained to the breaking point. And later, a little girl becomes a big-time author with some help from her best friend. It is turning out to be a deadly week for U.S. forces in Iraq. 3 Americans were killed today in a rocket attack near Nasiriyah. That brings to 12 the number of U.S. soldiers killed in Iraq this week. The U.S. death toll since the invasion nearly 5 years ago now is 3,987. And the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan are also putting tremendous strain on military equipment, including the workhorse plane that protects troops on the ground. There are new concerns tonight that America's aging AC-130s are falling apart. David Martin has this exclusive report.
A prop plane in a jet age, and an ungainly one at that. But the AC-130 gunship may well be the single most overworked piece of equipment in the American arsenal. When it takes on a full load of ammunition, it becomes a flying tank. And every time Special Operations Forces conduct a mission in Iraq and Afghanistan, an AC-130 covers them from the air.
We are the #1 aircraft for percentage of combat time and total time over the course of the year.
The airplane Lieutenant Colonel Mark Clausen is flying on today's training mission has been in service for 17 years. But the war is making the gunship old before its time.
We've been flying in a range 4 times. Would they ever anticipated so effectively? This is a 40-year-old C-130 and the way it reacts.
The back of the plane is filled with crew members, instruments, computers, guns, and ammo. So full, it's at maximum gross weight.
And that basically means I'm at max throttles, max gross weight, and it's max wear and tear on the aircraft on a daily basis.
You rarely see an AC-130 gunship in action because they operate at night and in secret. But they're seeing so much action in Iraq and Afghanistan that it's getting harder and harder to keep them flying.
We're flying the wings off of them, literally.
Captain James May says cracks are already starting to show in the wings, which will have to be replaced 5 years ahead of schedule. And that's just the wings. For every hour of flying, a gunship needs 14 hours of maintenance.
These airframes are getting so old that we've got stuff breaking on them that has never broken before.
But on this flight, it's the guns that break down. First, the 40mm cannon jams. Then the big 105mm howitzer refuses to fire on automatic. A few love taps with a wrench, but still no go. There's one way that does work. The old-fashioned way. Even firing manually, the AC-130 is a fearsome weapon. The one gun that does work flawlessly on this mission, the 25mm Gatling gun, fires at a rate of 1,800 rounds per minute. If Special Operations Forces ever get a chance to capture or kill Osama bin Laden, an AC-130 gunship will almost certainly be part of the operation. That is, if it's still flying by then. David Martin, CBS News, Hurlburt Field, Florida.
And coming up next, where do you find work when times are tough? As that guy told Dustin Hoffman in The Graduate, one word: plastics. After more than 4 years of steady job creation, the U.S. economy this year has lost 85,000 jobs. But there is at least one company that's hiring, not in spite of the slowdown, but because of it. Give up? Kelly Kobayea explains as we continue our series, Hard Times, Good Jobs.
Now you know they're hungry because they're not talking.
At 37, Yvette Rivera is the face of a stale economy. Out of a job, feeding a family of 5 on her husband's $40,000 a year salary.
Couldn't sell the home. He was actually out for a year.
And stuck in a Central Florida home that won't sell.
That's got to be so frustrating. You're trying to move for economic reasons and you can't get out of the house.
No, it's very tough. It's emotionally frustrating. You're on a roller coaster.
Desperate for extra cash, Yvette turned to plastic. No, not credit cards, but an American icon.
These are things that I've won myself.
I'm here to show you modern dishes for modern living.
Tupperware, the company of burping bowls,
There, did you hear it?
is booming once again, thanks in part to a slow economy.
Is your kitchen all Tupperware?
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
had to say yes.
Now, yeah.
CEO Rick Goings has seen the company's stock rise to a 10-year high. The U.S. sales force has grown 10% since 2005, and it shows in sales, up 14% last year.
When economies are soft, you usually have higher unemployment. And when there's higher unemployment, there's a bigger recruiting pool. And the number one driver of direct selling companies is recruiting a sales force.
While other industries are downsizing, Tupperware is capitalizing on economic anxiety, using it as a recruiting tool with promises of a new career and big money.
And I'm going to pay you $1,000 Tupperbucks.
The company points to sales consultants like 37-year-old Michelle LaBarca as proof.
I do roughly 6 to 8 parties a month. I really do focus on being a stay-at-home mom. So I make roughly about 60. A year, $60,000 a year. And a free car.
That's after 9 years of sales and a cut of the profits from more than 50 consultants she's brought in. Yvette started selling Tupperware 4 months ago. Her cabinets are overflowing, but her monthly profits?
About $300 or $400 is my average.
Not a windfall, but enough to pad the family budget and keep the for sale sign in storage until the economy improves. Kelly Kobayea, CBS News, St. Cloud, Florida.
And when we come back, The Right Stuff, the unforgettable story of a young author and her 4-footed inspiration. And finally tonight, a young author who is really going places. As you'll see, that in itself is amazing. But so are the stories she has to tell, beginning with her own. Here's Richard Schlesinger.
Was it a lot of writing?
No, I'm good, thank you. Okay.
Shay McGalley is just 12 years old, but she's set to release her second book.
He was already a hero to Shay.
About a character named Mercer who has lots of adventures.
Wahoo! Mercer yelled with his ears flapping in the wind.
Shay travels with her mother, who helped her write the books, and a service dog. The fact that she travels at all is remarkable because she suffers from spinal muscular atrophy, a paralyzing disease.
I was born with this disease and, I just grew up with it, grew up accepting it, and I moved on. Dear Diary.
Her first book began as a few entries in her diary, sketches of Mercer ice skating by a little girl who never would.
You think that Mercer is really sort of her and her imagination?
Yeah, I do, and I think he's an outlet for her, too.
But Mercer is not just an imaginary friend. He's very real.
All right.
This is Mercer.
You want popcorn? Yes, you do.
He's a four-legged metaphor for a life lived in a little girl's mind. He goes everywhere with her, helping her with everyday chores.
Give. Good boy.
And inspiring her fantasies.
Why did you choose Mercer to be the star of your books?
Well, I thought he was the star of my life, so I thought, why not the book? He's really amazing. He's my best buddy, and he deserved it, I thought.
It's her escape from the reality of her disease, which doctors say will probably kill her by her late teens. At 12 years old, she's already too weak to move very much, but she is moving others. Her book is available at FAO Schwartz and Barnes & Noble and Target. And several more are in the planning stages. Mercer will go swimming and sledding and all sorts of other things. Things Shay knows she'll never do.
Does that make you sad?
No, it doesn't, because, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff you can't do, am I right? So.
Very many things, yes.
It gives her a whole new identity of, you know what, instead of this is what it is and I've got to find a way to live my life, to showing people this is how you live life.
And Mercer makes it possible. Shay's muse, her hero, if you will. A central character in both of her lives, imaginary and real.
Good boy.
Richard Schlesinger, CBS News, Centerville, Virginia.
Congratulations, Shay. And that is the CBS Evening News. I'm Katie Couric. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.